sort of grovelled to get back with her, and she said if we were going to be back together, I had to let her track my phone so she could see where I was. This was an absolute nightmare.
It's fair to say, boys, the right relationship with the right girl can be absolutely amazing, but there are some very common pitfalls that the majority of guys make that will absolutely ruin your relationships. So I've put them all together, the ones that I've learnt from in my past relationships. Luckily, I've come out fairly unscathed. I've had a few close calls, but I want to make sure you boys are protected, you know what to look out for, and more importantly, you know what not to do when you have a long-term girlfriend, a long-term relationship. So let's get into the video.
So this is a super common mistake. Nearly everybody makes it at some point. I've made it, you've probably made it. If you're too young to make it, you'll probably make it in the future, even though I'm telling you not to. If you want to save yourself a load of time and hassle, don't make this mistake. Moving in together. 2 attractive reasons why a lot of people do this, and exactly the same reason I did it. If you live in the West, rent's expensive. So there's no doubt that pooling 2 people's finances together, once you're of age, moving out of your mum's house or moving in with your girlfriend, is something that looks very attractive. It's going to save you money, and you get an unlimited supply of pussy. You don't have to fuck your girlfriend in your mum's house and get told off all the time. So I can understand why you would do it. It's one of the biggest mistakes that you can make for 3 reasons. Competition anxiety, and I'll go into this. As soon as a girl becomes your girlfriend, she behaves well and she looks after you and keeps giving you sex and having a good time with you. Because if she respects you, she thinks in the back of her mind, all right, if I start misbehaving or not doing what he says or not being a good girlfriend or a good partner, a good person to be around, he might leave. As soon as you move in together, you take that away because you've signed a rental agreement. You've bought a house. You're tied into something more than the relationship. And the problem with this is it destroys her competition anxiety, because the nights that you weren't staying together, she would always think in the back of her mind, oh my God, what if he's fucking somebody else? I better stay on top of my game, make sure he actually likes me. As soon as she knows that every night you're coming home to her, it allows her to take her foot off the gas completely. And it also allows you to take your foot off the gas completely. You'll find when you move in together, the spark fizzles out very quickly because you no longer make time for date nights. Everything becomes some sort of one long date. You don't have that time to miss each other. That is absolutely essential. So the only time I would say it's a good idea to move in with a girl is if she is the mother of your children and you are looking after children in a household together. And then I'd still recommend you spend time away from her because you need that time to allow yourselves to be fond of each other rather than growing to resent each other. It affects your ability to walk away. If she's now fucking around, if she's doing a load of stuff you don't like, you cannot walk away as easy as you once would. Before, you didn't have all your stuff together, you weren't signed into this agreement together. You could have just said at one point, yeah, to be honest, I've found a new girl I like more, or I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. You cut it off, she goes home and cries at her house, you go home and do whatever you want at your house. That's all gone. That's all ruined. You've got to now sort housing out. And your ability to walk away is what keeps a woman respecting you. And also I find when you spend too much time with a woman, a man should have a healthy group of masculine men around him if he really wants to dominate. There is strength in the clan. And having that group of masculine men around you allows you to become the best version of yourself, that healthy competition. If you spend too much time around women, feminine energy will actually make you become partly female. And I've experienced this myself. You become the person that you live with. Your personalities meld into each other. And the problem is, if you're a masculine man and you meld too much with the feminine, she's going to depolarize you. You're going to become more feminine as a man. You're going to start to take up some more feminine views because you're being impacted heavily by a female. I'm not saying you can't have girls come and stay over your house or stay for weeks on end. Just don't sign the papers and move in together. You need to have your own place. She needs to have her own place. Operating in her frame, what does this mean? This means that from the get-go, she pretty much decides everything. This is a masculine woman that would do this because most feminine women like to be led. If you found yourself with a masculine woman, she will decide everything. And then you're operating her frame. She's going out, do you want to come with her? So you go and meet her friends. You do her stuff. You go to her friend's birthday. You watch what she watches on TV. You listen to her music. The problem with this, it grants her far too much control. If you're operating constantly in her frame, she has control of the frame. She decides what you do. And the problem with this is women don't actually want that control. Women want men, they want to operate in a man's frame. They want to feel that support of a man's frame, of doing what a man wants to do, of being looked after, being cared for, being guided. She doesn't want the responsibility of you having to do everything with her. She will actually be unhappy with you if you operate in her frame consistently. Not saying you can't occasionally go and meet her and her friends, can't occasionally do things she wants to do, but all in all, women don't want that sort of control. Trust me. This is a very easy pitfall. I'm sure even if you're a young man, you've fallen into this one. Love is a drug. It releases hormones. Is it hormones? It releases serotonin, I think, dopamine. You are addicted to a drug. It's the same thing as being addicted to like cocaine or ecstasy or any of these types of drugs. You are addicted to a drug, and that drug is love and sex with a woman that cares about you. And I found what goes up must come down. If you're a junkie for love, if you are constantly going to that woman, if you're spending all your time together just trying to get that hit, trying to constantly feel good, whenever you're apart you feel depressed. The problem is you are going like this. And you must come down at some point. And normally, like in your first relationship, you will go all in, you'll forget everything else, your whole life crumbles behind you as you focus on one relationship, and everything else that previously gave you joy and happiness falls away, and then you're left with one thing that provides the happiness. And the problem with that is it becomes a very weak position to be in as a man. A woman doesn't want to feel like you depend on her for happiness. Like if you're calling her and saying, baby, don't leave me, you don't know what it will do to me if you leave me. That is not a position you ever want to be in. You could say to a girl, look, I don't want you to leave, but if you want to, fair enough, I'll be fine. That's a much more powerful position to be in. You'll find often women want to spend time doing fun things. They want to go on walks. They want to go on picnics. They want to go out for dinner. They want to have movie nights. They want to stay in and eat junk. They want to go for drinks. They want cocktails. They want holidays. And that's absolutely fine. That is the most beautiful thing about women, is they allow us as men to play. But we cannot spend all our time together doing that, because too much of any good thing is a bad thing. So occasionally, if you're working hard all week, you're staying on your grind, you're seeing your boys, you're working hard on your business, you're getting stressed out, you're working hard in the gym, and then one day a week you see that beautiful girl and she allows you to relax and you wind down, you watch a movie and you have that, and then it's back to the grind. That's a beautiful dynamic between the ultra masculine and the feminine, and how she can really soothe and heal and allow for restoration in that period. But if you allow it to be all the time, you guys are doomed. Letting her know, or actually being afraid of losing her, or thinking that she's the one. Now, you probably will disagree with me with this if you're a young man. I don't believe that there is the one. I prefer to think of it as there are thousands of girls out there that are perfectly suited to you as a man, but you've only met some of them. You've only met one of them, for example, out of the thousands. So you're thinking in your head, oh my God, I can't lose her, she's the one. What I want you to do is switch this and go, she is one of the ones. She may be the one that I decide to be with. That's no problem at all, as long as the relationship's set up the right way. But she is one of the ones, and there are thousands more waiting for me to find them, that I might even possibly like 10, 15 times more. Because I'll tell you what, boys, with pretty much every relationship I've had, the next girlfriend that comes along is twice as good as the first one. And you didn't think that it could be any better than that one. And then the next one comes along, and she whoops both of their asses. Because you develop as a man, you know what to watch out for. So the one does not exist. There are thousands of ones, you just haven't met them. You can't be afraid of losing her. She will lose all respect for you if you ask her not to go. So always be willing to walk away. If she doesn't fit into your frame, if she doesn't do what you want her to do, if she doesn't respect you as a man. Giving up control. And I did this once with a girlfriend, and it just destroyed the respect. I had cheated. I'd had a kiss with a girl in the club. I told her in a previous YouTube video. And after we got back together, I sort of groveled to get back with her. And she said if we were going to be back together, I had to let her track my phone so she could see where I was. This was an absolute nightmare. Never let a girl track your phone. If she's asking for rules like that, she's asking to be in control, you're better off just saving yourself the hassle and finding a new girl. Unfortunately, I wasn't wise enough for that. At that time, I felt very weak and vulnerable. I felt like that was my sort of only source of happiness and affection. The trap I've told you, boys, don't fall into it. And I had to get her back somehow because felt like I was going to be very lost without her. So I allowed her to give rules and regulations on my life that made things quite, not miserable, we still had a good time together, but it upset the dynamic, which meant further down the line, we ended up breaking up because it just wasn't quite right. So it's like, rather than submit to any of the controlling aspects of a woman's asks, tell her no. And if that means you can't be together, it's for the best. Or she might just say, okay, that's fair enough, I want to be with you anyway. Because she wants you to be powerful and dominant. I think the problem was, it wasn't that my girlfriend asked for... It wasn't that my girlfriend asked to track my phone. Because one thing you must understand as a man is women will constantly test you. They will test to see if you're still operating in your frame. They will test to see if you are still a masculine alpha male. So it was not wrong of her to ask. It was wrong of me to submit to that request, which gave her more control than she wanted and emasculated me massively and upset the dynamic and made it so that we didn't have as good a relationship as we could have. I imagine if I just said, look, no, I've kissed a girl, babe, didn't mean it, she was a hoe, I want you, I'm not going to talk to any other girls, just trust me. If you can't trust me, we won't be together. Pretty sure she would have just said yes anyway and had me back and we could have had a much better relationship. But we learn from our mistakes. And they're 5 that I made, boys. They're the 5 mistakes that I've made in a relationship. I think most men make them. Learn them early. Save yourselves a load of pain. Go get them, Tiger. If you want to talk more about relationships, ask me questions personally or have another group of guys, a clan of boys around you to build up your circle. Check out the link below. Come join the course. Boost your testosterone. Get my workout programs and join the Gorilla Clan. Hang out with us. And text on the WhatsApp group. But, boy, that's it for today. See you on the next one. You know what time it is. It's monkey time. It's gorilla time. Whoppa! Whoppa!